What's up guys, Jeff Cavalier, ATHLEAN-X.com. You've asked for it. I'm gonna do it here today. It's a 4th of July weekend. So it's a good time to step back and take a little bit of a break and give you guys a tour of the new ATHLEAN-X gym here, the X box that you guys have been asking about. You've noticed it in the training videos and you wanna know a little bit more about it. Well, I figured I'll take you through so I can show you why I selected what I selected and give you an idea of what this place looks like. You know, first of all, we've got a tract here of turf. And when I'm training teams in here, it gives me a good open run to do sled pushes or to do sprints, or just a good open area to do any kind of ab work where we need some extra space. But this is our big sort of tract of turf. Then we have, of course, our display screen here. There's a lot of cool things we can actually do on that display screen. For the guys that have any of our programs, they know that I spend a lot of time at that board. It's basically a large telestrator, so I can actually break down something I haven't done yet, is actually take somebody's performance, film one of my athletes doing, let's say, a squat, and then draw and physically show the most important parts about their form and break it all down there via sort of like an NFL telestrator type effect. So that's a very helpful thing. But starting right here in the corner, we basically have first of all, we have our ATHLEAN-X supplements here. They're always on hand here. Guys that train with me know how important I think nutrition and supplementation is, especially in and around your workout. So we basically have our RX1, 2 in the back there, post-workout, pre-workout over here, and then our nighttime recovery. And of course, we fuel our athletes while they're here with what I feel is obviously only the best in sports nutrition. Then we have our kettlebell rack, some slam balls, some miscellaneous med balls on the bottom. Right off the bat, well, first of all, you're going to notice that there's always sports on here. I mean, this is what I do for a living. So here are my beloved Mets. Of course, you got to pull for them and root for them. They're here playing the LA Dodgers. But in the background here, we have our Woodway treadmill. And the Woodway, for those of you who are familiar with the treadmills, it's definitely the best in the game. There's a reason why it's here, because this training environment was meant to be equal to the best in the game. I spent many years in Major League clubhouses and got used to the fact that the best pieces of equipment were offered to the players so that they could train at their highest level. Well, I wanted to make sure that the same exact thing was available to the guys that train with me here, so there's no step down from what they're used to training with. This Woodway treadmill, the greatest part about it is this belt doesn't go on a deck. There's no deck under here, so it's basically suspended on air. So that allows us to have a really nice cushioned surface, very low impact, safe, feels good for all the athletes that run on it. So that's why this is here. Next, we have a glute ham raise. Now, the glute ham piece is a great opportunity for us to do closed chain hamstring training because our feet can be in contact there with that back plate. And more importantly than that, it gives us a chance to train hamstrings and glutes together. And I talk about all the time the importance of training those two muscle groups together because they're meant to train together and basically drive the entire posterior chain by working together. And the guys that train hamstrings in isolation are the guys that wind up having many hamstring injuries. Something that we work a great deal on here trying to prevent is hamstring injuries, one of the most common injuries in sports. And even just for our weekend warriors, hamstrings can be a big deal and a problematic thing, not if you're training the right way and getting your glutes to work with your hamstrings. So we have our rack of dumbbells. You've probably seen these appear in previous videos. One thing you'll notice, I'm pretty damn anal about how these things go back in the racks. I put them back in the order that they're supposed to be in. And I don't know why in most commercial gyms people can't figure that out, but it's pretty simple. They go from 5 all the way down there up to 100 down here, and they just go up every 5 pounds. So if you can count, you can put them back in the right way. Here's a lat pull-down machine. I certainly love pull-ups, and I do a lot of weighted pull-ups, but I just love the ability to lock myself in here on a lat pull-down and pull a lot of weight. And it's a low-profile machine. It doesn't have a lot of width to it, so it fits in nicely in this gym. It's just one of the pieces that I like to include. Here, this is a remnant from what I actually had back from a few videos ago. And I kept it because it gives me the chance to still have the Roman chair set up, but it was the pull-up bar until the rest of the stuff came in, which I'll show you in a second. But this Roman chair setup I actually use still to do our boxer ab routine. I'll link it over here if you haven't seen it already. It's our routine that we use it's a crusher, but it works best off of a Roman chair, so we kept it. Here, this is my machine that was sort of like a special order piece for me. It's sort of my, and some of my older athletes, it's a perfect squat, is what they call it. But what this allows me to do is face in this way, and basically put the pads on my shoulders. So it creates an environment where I could actually do hands-free squatting. So for me, I don't know if however long you've been watching me, but I have a pretty messed up set of knees. They've been beaten up and bashed from doing years of bad training. Probably the #1 impetus for why I created the ATHLEAN-X training system in the first place and why I even became a physical therapist was to try to learn more about maybe the shit I did wrong for many, many years and fix it and help others fix that now. The perfect squat allows me to actually brace my own knees, give my patellar tendons a little bit extra support because my hands don't have to be on a bar, and I can still load up with this plate-loaded machine, do some heavy squatting, but give my knees a little bit of a break. And it doesn't compromise your form like a Smith machine does because your body can move in any plane here as this thing arcs down. All right, so this upper piece will arc in the direction that you like to move in. This is just a big overhead door. It allows us to get the equipment in here. It can open it up on a nice day. Got a true bike here. Another way for me to train my legs in a way that I could still do sort of a low impact approach, but also train my legs just by making that resistance a little bit higher. So obviously a little bit more of a lighter training effect there, but that's okay. It's still another conditioning option as well. Here, you notice the landmine setup, and I'll link that video again right over here where I gave you some unique chest exercises you can actually do with an Olympic bar landmine setup. And if you haven't seen that video, you're going to want to watch it. But this is a great piece, and it's attached right to sort of the holy grail of the whole place, which is our double rack setup. And our racks here are custom made. You can see they're made in our black and red colors. And this is the best that it gets in the business. They don't make anything heavier duty here. And again, I talked about there's some serious guys training in this gym with me, some pretty strong ass guys. I need my equipment to be able to stand up to the punishment that those guys can dish out. And these racks do just that. I have one sort of set up for benching, and we span across to the other one that I'll set up actually for squatting. But back to the one here, again, we've got lots of different support options. We have spotter plates back there, but then we can have, even if we decide to do pull-ups, I've got neutral grip set up, I've got wide grip, got a skinnier bar for underhand. So lots of different options. Our training bands, our ATHLEAN-X bands hanging from here. Our red extreme bands there, the cool thing is we can actually do resisted bench press or resisted squats with the pegs that are on the bottom of the squat rack. Up top, we've got our angled ladder, sort of our American Ninja Warrior ladder, and then we've got our straight ladder. And again, I think going back to my days in childhood, don't worry, I'll explain that in 1 second. My childhood days, I used to love the monkey bars and just sort of being able to climb all over the place. Well, I still do this now, but I make it a little bit more challenging. I'll actually throw either a weight vest on or I'll put a weight belt on, a dip belt with suspended weight, and maybe carry 45 pounds or 90 pounds as I do these bars to make it more challenging. That, again, as I talked about, that's our sports ticker. And again, I have to get all the updates. This is my business. It's not necessarily a hobby for me, guys. So I have to understand all the latest injury updates. I have to understand player movements, player moves, guys getting sent up, sent down. But what's also cool is when we're training in this environment here, I can get my players all set up with their heart rate monitors and actually have them display up on that board. So guys can get an instant feedback of where their heart rate is, depending upon whatever our training goal is for that day. It could be right here displayed on this board. So it doesn't have to just be a sports feed. It can be much more than that. Again, over on this other rack here, we have a jammer setup. So a lot of times defensive backs, offensive linemen, they'll train in here, and when we do, we use the jammers a lot. If you haven't seen them, basically this allows us to load up here on one side and then press in an explosive way up and out, okay? So just up and out in an arc. So if I get down in a breakdown position here, I can come up, use my legs, and jam at the same time, which is a pretty functional movement for guys that, especially like I said, defensive linemen, offensive linemen, defensive backs. So this rack, I'll set up as a squat rack primarily, so I don't have to keep jumping back between the two. I mentioned the TVs up there, and the entertainment is always there, but of course, we got this place locked in for sound too. And we could turn it up when we need to. Little Metallica on right here. So it's a pretty cool place to train, I can guarantee you that. And the guys that do train here, we seem to get our work done. Let's just hear that first part. Probably the best band ever. For you guys that always ask, oh, I wonder if Jeff's a metalhead. I definitely like Metallica. This is sort of my deal. But I do have LL Cool J radio on here too, just in case I need to get into that groove too, some old school R&B, hip hop. So this is the gym, guys. I got one more thing I meant to show you. Hey, Charlie, come here. Charlie, come here. Come here, Charlie. Come here. Come over here. You guys know Charlie, so this is the official mascot of ATHLEAN-X. Come on right here to the logo. Come here. Okay, you ready? Sit. Hey, sit. Sit. Sit, Charlie. And there he is. That's my boy. So Charlie joins me here at the Xbox. He's my best friend. You guys remember that Charlie's the one that had, see, he's tired already. He's the one that had the ACL issue on that knee. I'm happy to say he's doing great, and he's on the mend. He's on the comeback. He's never been stronger. So he hangs out here, and I love having him. But guys, this is it. I basically wanted to put together a little tour for you here on this 4th of July weekend. It's kind of a time to just step back, a little slow video here. But you've been asking for the video and a tour of the new place, so I figured let me show you what it's all about. I can promise you this, there'll be a lot of great videos coming out of here. We've tried to up our production value for you guys, your loyal viewers. We're almost at 1 million viewers by the time you're watching this. And I think it's well deserved by you guys because you're the ones that have supported this channel and have sort of forced the upgrade here from the low quality videos that we started with to things that you guys can expect now, bigger and better things. That being said, whatever you want to see done in this Xbox, you got to let me know below. What type of video, what type of questions do you have, and I'll do my best to make sure I bring the videos to you. And lastly, as I said, it's the 4th of July. This all wouldn't be possible, you know, without our independence and our ability to do some really cool things here and choose what we want to do for a living. This is what I chose to do. This is my life. This is my passion. And I thank any of those who had any part in creating our independence here, anybody that served, who's allowed us to be able to do things like this. I feel blessed. So guys, remember, leave your video requests down below, and I will do my best to bring them to you here on this channel. And I'll be back here in just a couple days to get those requests going for you, all right? So have a great rest of your weekend. If you're celebrating the 4th of July, have a great one. I'll see you back here soon.